morning. And I'm going to take this off. Thank you for letting me come and present a little bit here. Right off the bat, I guess, the first thing that I think about whenever I'm teaching, there's a couple things that I hope to come out is, one is that I'm able to give some level of tools when it comes to health that you can go and apply and use. And then the second thing would be maybe filters is a way to think about it. Like, how do I look at this given situation or this something that comes my way and think about it in a way that honors the Lord, honors His people, and honors ourselves especially, okay? Because that's ultimately why we're here. We're on this planet and we have this amazing Lord and we're here to honor Him. And I pray that we honor Him with this presentation here as well too. So, because we have this life and it's such a gift, it's such a blessing. We have this one life and this one opportunity to honor Him, honor our families, and honor our friends, and honor ourselves. So I think that if we can just have a great discussion on optimizing the earth suit. I hear that a lot. Earth suit, right? I like that phrase. I think that's good. Optimizing this earth suit, we can do some great works on this planet in this time that we have. We have great things come in too. That's wonderful. So here's the thing. I'm a chiropractor by trade, and I'm a physician that focuses on this concept, this idea of natural health and wellness, all right? Meaning, look at how the body is created and work with that. Right? You did a pretty good job. We could agree on that, right? So, let's just do that. Let's just look at how the body's created, the anatomy and the physiology, and start working with that. I just think that just at a certain level, and this is something that I believe and I kind of study and I look into, and I have a lot of discussions around this, that we don't really have a good understanding of what health is in the United States today. And this is important. I think that this is kind of at the foundation of a lot of things. It's just, what does it mean to be healthy? I don't know that we necessarily have a good, and I don't want to sound too pessimistic with this, but in the United States, as far as health goes, do you guys think that we're awesome and great, kind of middle of the road, or maybe, middle of the road, maybe, maybe a little? And that's kind of what gets me. But I think foundationally it has to do with this idea of we do not have a good definition of health. Because we kind of focus in on other things other than how the body works. Let me start off with this. This is going to be kind of this example that I give to kind of put things into perspective. So, cholesterol. We've all heard of cholesterol, right? Okay, good or bad? What do you think most people would say? Okay, how much you got? Kind of, there's a discussion around it, right? It's not just as simple as good or bad. I have a feeling, though, that there is a perception that a lot of times it's bad. Okay? Especially when the levels are up, right? Oh, that's bad, right? Okay. And then here's the thing. When you start breaking down and you get into an anatomy book and you start doing studies, cholesterol, get this, a healing molecule in the body. Meaning, as a functional unit in your body, it actually goes to areas of inflammation and damaged tissues to repair those tissues. Okay, can you follow me on that? Now think about this. So, if somebody has high cholesterol, is cholesterol really the issue? Or maybe that's an indicator of something else going on in the body, right? All right, well, if it actually gets increased and when the body's under stress and duress and damage, well, if it's up, maybe there's something bigger going on, right? But a lot of times, what do? You go into a physician and they say, oh, your cholesterol's up, what are they going to give you? Right? Bring it down. It's got to be at a certain level. Now, here's the thing. I'm not here to say good or bad or right or wrong, but let's have a bigger discussion than just take this pill and I'll see you next time, right? Because, okay, let me give you an example. My mentor, Dr. Greg Lohman, his cholesterol was up in the 300s, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, that's not good. So he goes in, well, we got to bring it down, here's a pill. He does not take the pill. He does a little bit of research. He finds out he has Lyme disease. Why was his cholesterol up? Lyme was ravaging his body. So guess what his body naturally did, and in the innate wisdom it had, raised cholesterol to actually protect itself from the Lyme. Could you imagine if he had Lyme disease and he actually would have taken a statin, dropped his cholesterol, what would have happened? Lyme would have damaged his body and ravaged his body, but innate wisdom in the body actually did the right thing. Instead, get this, he addressed the Lyme disease. Guess what happened to his cholesterol? Yeah. little different discussion than just take a pill, right? There's an innate wisdom in the body, it's the way God created it, that kind of supersedes it all. And you have to start from that foundation. In fact, here, may I use your arm real quick? So here we go. Let's do this. Just your arm. If I come over here, excuse me for putting it this way, but if I cut your arm right there, what'll start to happen with your arm right off the bat? It'll start bleeding, right? Now think about it this way. Smart or silly for the body to bleed? I'll tell you this, it might actually be pretty smart. Because what if the knife that I had a little bit of bacteria on it? What if the puppy dog that scratched you had a little bit of feces on his paw? What would the blood coming out of there do? Start to clean it out, right? And then what'll happen after a short time? It'll start to what? Yeah, right? And it'll go all the way through this process of, first clotting, right? And then it'll go to scab, and then it'll go to skin, and it might leave a scar, and many times it might not even leave a scar, right? But the question is, did you have to think about it? No, right? Innate wisdom in the body did it on its own. It was able to heal. Go ahead, take a seat, thank you. So here's the thing, when it comes to health, our discussion, because it fits right in the word. You said it already. What does it mean to be healthy? Focusing in on and supporting your body's ability to heal. It's right in the word. Follow me on that? Does that make sense? Okay, so where do we go from there, right? Here we go. Innate wisdom in the body does the healing. Sometimes we have to help it, though. Does that make sense? That's practical. Very, very practical. So, let's get into some practicals here. What do we need to do? What do we need to do? So, as a physician, I sit down with people and I go over kind of three very basic anatomical and physiological things when it comes to this discussion of what does it mean to heal, okay? And I'm going to break them down, I'm going to give little examples underneath, and I'm going to give some tactile things of what to do at home as well, all right? So one thing is, do you guys realize we're animated dirt? You ever thought about that? Yeah, we are, right? There's a seed, goes into the ground, the seed turns into what over time? Turns into a plant. Where did the stuff to make the plant come from? The dirt, right? Okay, then what do we do with the plant? We eat the plant and it turns into what? Us, right? How about this? We put a seed in the ground, turns into a plant, cows come over, eat the plant, or a pig eats the plant, and then what do we do with the cow or the pig? We eat the cow or the pig, right? And then that turns to what? Us, and where did it start? In the dirt. It's kind of a neat thought. We're animated dirt, we're walking dirt. And that's a cool thought. Now let's start talking about, let's take it a little layer deeper about the quality of the dirt. This is important, okay? When my wife was pregnant, by the way, this is amazing, she was told she'd never be able to have kids. Now through kind of this health and wellness lifestyle and doing stuff and chiropractic and nutrition and exercise, I got 3 kids. Thank you, that's very, very cool. To go from never having kids to having kids is a beautiful thing. But of course now we just don't sleep and that's fine. But my wife was pregnant with Elliot, our first kid, and I looked at her plate one day. She was sitting there, and she was bigger, and she's 5'1", tiny, big belly, and she was eating, right? And I looked at her plate. I was in school at the time. Think about this. That food was going to do what? Get chewed, get digested, get assimilated, which means used, and turned into what? Every single cell, tissue, and organ of who? My son. And I don't know if it's who or whom, I guess I'm not very good with English, but that's all right. But everything on the plate turned into my son. Does it make sense that the quality of the food on the plate would matter in terms of the build that was going on the inside? This is a big deal. If you're building a house or a structure here, whatever this thing is here, does it make sense that the quality of the building materials matters in terms of the outcome of the build? That's a big deal. So why do I spend a lot of time talking to people about food? It's because it's a big deal. Those are the building blocks to every single cell, every single tissue, every single organ, all the hormones in your body, all of it, all of it, all of it, all of it, right? So let's have a good food discussion. Here we go. Food. What do we think about food? Basic anatomy and physiology. This is kind of a practical here. Essential for life. There are things that are essential for life, meaning without them, you cannot exist. You don't exist. You need certain things to build chemicals and molecules and tissues in your body, and if you don't take them in, you don't build them. Like hormones are a big deal, right? Oh man, yeah. If you don't have the proper building blocks for your hormones, guess what you don't build? But at the same time, there's a quality discussion as well, too. Here we go. First thing. Fats. They're called fatty acids because a big part of health is what? Nutrition, right? Now, what we're talking about here is essentials for health, essentials for life. Without them, you cease to exist. We have these things called fatty acids. We need them, otherwise we do not exist. They come from fats. Pretty simple, right? But the big thing is the quality of the fats. This is where it gets kind of tricky. It's the quality of the fats. And this is a trickier discussion. You know how people are really excited about like olive oil now and coconut oil now? Like, why is that? Why is it like canola oil is maybe, okay, where does olive oil come from? Okay, where does coconut oil come from? Where does canola oil come from? There's no such thing as a canola plant. Canadian low acid, canola. They take a plant called rapeseed, they process it, they ultra process it, it's super bitter. They extract, they use chemicals to change it up, take the bitterness out and turn it into this amazing cooking oil that's really, really good for like high heat cooking, right? I cannot deny that it's good for high heat cooking. But they process it so much, so then on your pan you have damaged fats that then you digest, that then turn into what? Damaged tissues. Can you follow that? It's why people are talking about good high quality olive oils, or talking about coconut oil, or grapeseed oil, or sesame seed oil. It's a good thing to get in good high quality fats. Okay? This is key. Next one, amino acids. Amino acids are essential for life. They come from protein. Oops, I didn't spell that right. Proteins, right? What's proteins? A lot of times animal products, right? Fats. Proteins actually go hand in hand a lot. We need to take in good high quality proteins. What's a cow supposed to eat? Grass. Do you know what they eat in most cases in the United States in industrialized food processing? Grains and corn. They do not eat what they're supposed to eat. This is the thing. This is why there's a big trend around this idea of like high quality meats and grass fed and all that. You've heard of that, right? Why is that? It's because cows are supposed to eat grass. Instead, they feed them corn and grains because that does what? Fattens them up. Fattens them up. So if you're fattening up a cow, guess what happens when you eat that cow and they're taking in a bunch of stuff that's fattening? All right. So, I mean, but then there's also a discussion of like, well, let me go further and I'll come back to the protein thing, all right? So here's the thing. These are essential for life. Again, what else is essential for life? Vitamins and minerals, right? We know that. I take a multi-supplement. I eat fairly well, but I still take some supplementation. Keep in mind, supplementation is supposed to supplement good eating. It's not supposed to replace it, meaning, oh, my diet's poor, so I'm going to supplement. You eat well and then you supplement because you might need a little bit, right? Okay, hold on, right here. Vitamins and minerals, where's that come from? Your mom was right. Vegetables, fruit, right? Eat your fruits, eat your vegetables. More vegetables than fruit. Fruit's high in sugar, even though it's okay, it's good natural sugar. It's just they're still high in sugar and sugar has its effect on the body, okay? Now, I drew a line. This is where it gets tricky. These are essential for life, right? I got a line right in here for a reason. Underneath here, I'm going to write something. Carbs. What are carbs? Grains, breads, pastas, right? Why do I have the line there, though? Do you know what the essential need for carbs is to have life? Essential, meaning without them you cease to exist. Essential for carbs is on a daily or a monthly or yearly basis. 0. You do not need a single carb in your life to have a high quality of life. Period. Carbs are the good stuff, though, right? It is. Breads and pastries. And, that's where it gets tricky, all right? But 0. In fact, get this. This is where it gets me. Excuse me, I gotta tie my shoe or I'll fall on my face maybe. Diabetes. We'll talk about type 2 diabetes, right? Part of the, okay, so you know that type 2 diabetes is called adult onset diabetes? Meaning adults were developing it through lifestyle. It's a lifestyle-induced diabetes, meaning your lifestyle choices actually leads to the presentation of diabetes. Guess what's a big part of that? Carbs. It is. So, guess what's happening now? We're seeing teenage kids, 13, 12, 10-year-old kids getting adult onset diabetes. Why? Because we don't have this basic understanding of our nutrition. Okay? And think about this. Carbs and sugars and high-dose sugars actually leads to diabetes. So then what happens? What do you got to get on if you've got irregular blood sugar, type 2 diabetes? You got to get on medications for it, right? Then you get on the ADA, the American Diabetes Association's guidelines for diabetic diet. You can say like, oh, I'm diabetic, I better get on there, and this is what they recommend for me to eat. Guess what's one of the essential things that they put on their diet for diabetic people? Carbs. It's right on the recommendation. Isn't that kind of... But why? Why? Because you're on a medication, you can risk going too low with your blood sugar while you're on the medication. So guess what you got to do so the medication doesn't drop your blood sugar too low? Eat a carb. Right? Kind of weird. A lot of people have been able to reverse the diabetic presentation by just understanding this, focusing in on this, minimizing this over a period of time, and your body can actually heal from it just like this. That it has an innate wisdom to reset and to redo. Isn't that a beautiful thing? God did a pretty good job. Nutrition, this is the big thing. Fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals. Anybody eat organ meat? In hunter-gatherer times, 2,000-3,000 years ago, think about this. People used to kill an animal, eat the organ meats, because that's where the nutrients are, right? They would take the bones, make soups, boil the bones, make these soups, feed the big families, right? And then you know what they would do with the meat? They would throw away the meats to the dogs. What do we do these days? Throw away the organ meat, throw away the bones, and we eat the meat. You got it flipped. There's just some weird stuff when you start looking at how the body works. You guys follow me on this? So, if you can look at your plate and say, I need to have a certain level of fat, a certain level of protein, a certain level of vitamin and mineral, and minimize my carbs as much as possible, the good stuff, you'll be better off. Now, here's a tip. And I know fats are bad, right? Everybody's scared of fats. Since like the 1950s, there was this fat hypothesis. Fats are bad. You understand this, right? Fats are good. Undamaged fats are good. This is the key. Guess what 60% of your brain is made of? Fat. So, you're going on a low-fat diet. Guess what you're not feeding at a very basic level? Your brain. Isn't that crazy? Oh man, this is good. So let me give you a little tip. This is something I like. Here's your day. This is AM. This is PM. And this is where the energetics come in. So, in the morning, I try to take in fat and protein just for energetics, just to have energy throughout the day. Let me explain why. Just say you eat a big old bowl of cereal. What's going to happen with your insulin levels? What's going to happen with your, yeah, you got it, right? It'll spike, and if this is 12 noon, you'll spike, and then you'll crash right back down, right? And then what about 10 o'clock? What are you looking for? That second cup of coffee, that fourth, that 10th cup of coffee, and that donut, right? The snack, the something, right? That's what happens when you eat a carb right away in the morning. Guess what the energetics look like if you eat a protein in the morning? A little longer, a little flatter. So you eat a protein in the morning, your insulin doesn't spike as hard, it doesn't stress your body out, you actually have longer energy throughout the day, so that by noon you can actually eat reasonably and still have energy throughout the day. That's pretty good, right? Then you're not loading up on carbs, right? How about this? What happens when you eat a fat? Insulin hardly spikes, energy stays stable throughout the day. If you want to start losing some weight, guess what you do? Start taking in some fat, protein. You won't nibble and snack and nibble and snack and nibble and snack. and you'll actually have reasonable energy throughout the day. You'll actually have reasonable energy throughout the day. Your insulin won't go as crazy, so you won't wear out those receptors and burn it out. You won't develop diabetes in the future. Or if you have it, you can reverse it as well. That's kind of cool, right? Woo! Nutrition, it's a big deal. We are animated dirt. Let's get that dirt. Let's get some good high-quality dirt. Exercise. We all know that, right? What's it mean? Yeah, we got to exercise. Why do we need to move? Just at a basic level, why do we need to exercise? Very important for our body. For one, our brains control every single function in your body, right? All of it. How does your brain know how much body it has to take care of? Movement. Basic neurology of the body. The only way that your brain knows how much body to take care of is through movement. Anybody ever have a cast? You've had a cast before? How long did you wear it? 2 months. What happened to the muscles in there? They shrivel up. Did you hear that? Because there was no movement in there. Without the movement, the body didn't appropriately take care of those muscles. Well, it appropriately took care of the body. It recognized that it didn't need to put proteins there and energy there. Does that make sense? It's always appropriate. I don't want to be negative. It's always appropriate. But you lost its atrophy is what it's called, right? Because there was lack of movement there. It's kind of like this. I'm not a military guy, so bear with me. There's a general, and he's got 10,000 men. What's he got to do for that 10,000 men? Order enough food, enough ammo, enough trucks, enough fuel, enough boots, enough, right? And guess what? His fighting force will be amazing, be able to go forth and do what they got to do, right? But just say, and he's getting reports. You got 10,000 men, you got 10,000 men, you got 10,000 men, you got 10,000 men. Just say all of a sudden the reports come back and somebody does a little glitch. You got 8,000 men. What's he going to start doing? Ordering fuel and boots and trucks and ammo and flak jackets for 8,000 men, but he actually has 10,000 men. What's going to start happening to the fighting force? Is it going to get better or worse? Worse. But he's getting the reports. He's like, yeah, man, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing. Quality of the fighting force goes down. But just say you can reverse it, right? Start opening up and freeing that things up. Let's get those reports back up. Let's let him know that he actually has 10,000 men. What can happen to the quality of that fighting force again? Go back up. Number one thing that does that, movement at a very basic neurological level, exercises movement so your brain knows how much body you got. Also, what else is there? Sorry, I just burped. I had coffee, so you have to bear with me. I was in physics before, so I love this number. This is the acceleration due to gravity. Why do we need to exercise? Gravity. When does that ever stop? Right? It doesn't. So, like, if I ask my son Elliot, like, what's going to happen? Well, here's the thing. Gravity's always pulling down, so unless we create strength for ourselves to continually work and have the ability to handle the effects of gravity, what happens as we get older? This is my cane right here, right? Yeah, so just to have a basic quality of life. Quality of life. Think about it in terms of quality of life, so we can go out and serve the Lord and serve His people and honor ourselves and honor Him as well. Just to have the strength to be able to stand upright and move. To be able to do what we gotta do, play with the grandkids when we're older, or play with my kids now, or go to work, or come here and serve and take care of the people. Just exercise. And there's various ways of doing it. And we can do another whole discussion on this. I'm doing very macro here. I hope that's all right. The key, though, just do it. I have a lot of patients that come in and say, well, I can't exercise because my knees hurt. You know, I go out for a walk and my doctor says I got to exercise 45 minutes to an hour, 5 days a week to get benefit. I've had patients start at 5-minute walks a day for a month. And they come back after a month, and guess what's happening? They're getting stronger. 5 minutes a day. Literally, can you go out 2.5 minutes? And can you come back 2.5 minutes? Guess what you just did for yourself? Made yourself stronger. Do that every day. What I tell people is like, you know, at home, you go home, right? You go home, at some point you pull your keys out of the car, and at some point they're going to touch your door to go into your house or your apartment or wherever it is you live, right? Before your key touches the door, go up and down the block, go inside. Do that for 2 weeks. Next time, 2 blocks. Go inside your house. 3 blocks. Go inside your house. Before your key touches your door, do something. I have patients that started out by just doing this. They're brushing their teeth. You're supposed to brush your teeth for 2 minutes, I think is what they say, right? So 2 minutes of doing this, you will be sweating by the time you're done brushing your teeth. Squats. And you don't even have to do full squats. Well, doc, I can't do a squat because I'll fall. Can you do this? Do this. Do that for a month. Guess what will start to happen? Start to go a little further, a little further, a little further, a little further. But just do something. Just pick something and do it. You don't have to join a gym. You don't have to CrossFit. Everybody's all about CrossFit these days, right? Oh, you got to join CrossFit Rampage. Wow, that's pretty intense, you know? No. Go for a walk. Do some squats. Do what you got to do. Then maybe think about, here, there's an app that I use. It's called 7. They give you exercises in a Tabata format. It's a real simple app, excuse me. And what happens is for about, I don't know, anywhere from 5 to 12 minutes, they guide you in working out, where for 30 seconds you do a squat, and then you stop and rest. For 30 seconds you do a push-up and rest. If you can't do a full push-up, you do it on a table. If you can't do it on a table, what do? Do it on a wall. And then you rest. And it literally tells you what to do. Really, really cool. You don't have to go buy a bunch of equipment to go to a gym. It's on our phones if we all got a phone. If not, just do squats and then do some running in place. And then I have a lot of patients do boxing. Get your arms moving. Do that for 30 seconds. Do that for 30 seconds. Stop. 30 seconds. Stop. 30 seconds. Stop. You'll be sweating by the time you're done. You'd be amazed boxing. Have you ever boxed before? What a workout. Man. Get moving. Strength and gravity. As a chiropractic physician, I also address the nervous system. We're talking about the importance of the nervous system. What's the system that controls every function of the body? The brain and nervous system. When you optimize that through good nutrition, through good exercise, and then the aspect of chiropractic care that I do, your body can function and heal the best. Can I borrow somebody's heart? Can I borrow your heart? Here we go. So there's a nerve that goes to your heart, right? What happens if, excuse me for putting this way, I don't mean to speak it over you, just whoosh, and I cut the nerve going to your heart. What happens to your heart? Right? You hear that? Heart doesn't work. You cut the nerve going to the heart, right? That's pretty... Nerves are kind of a big deal. You know what the guillotine is? It was pretty effective at stopping the nervous system, right? Do you know what the last legal use of the guillotine was? How recent? 1977 in France. They used the guillotine. That's crazy. That's like the same year Star Wars came out. Remember that? Ooh. All right, but back to this, right? You cut the nerves in. So let's not cut the nerve. Let's pinch the nerve going to your heart. What's going to happen to the signals going to your heart? Are they going to work greater or less than? Less than, right? Okay, so over time, might not stop your heart, but over time, what starts to happen to the heart? Does it get stronger or weaker? Or weaker. And what do you start to see? Symptoms. And then what's the classic thing when you say, like, you got high blood pressure? You got to go over here and take a what? Yeah, but does that work? Will that fix the pressure on the nerve? No. How about I come over here, evaluate chiropractically, create a little bit of freedom on that nerve. What's going to start to happen to the heart over time? If it's already in a bad place, it'll start to get what? Get stronger, get healthier because of, oh, we lost our arm over here, the innate healing powers within the body. Then, on top of that, you do what? Start to exercise the heart. Heart gets a little stronger, and then guess what? Then you start to feel a little differently. You focus in on 3 very basic things. For anatomy and physiology of the body, you will get stronger every single time. Good exercise. Get a little stronger. Good nutrition. Get a little stronger. Check out chiropractic. See what's going on there neurologically. Do those 3 things at some level. You will get stronger and healthier and better. Is that me making all that noise? I'll turn it down here a little bit. Does that make sense? Basics of anatomy and physiology of the body. That's how it works. I want to get into something else too because I think this is important because it also has to do with our definition of health and how we understand how the body works. Over the last year, who here has experienced, and I'm going to do 3 tiers of this so you know where I'm going to go, low levels of stress in their life? Any hands? Yeah. Okay. How about moderate? Maybe middle of the road levels. Moderate. Next one, of course, high levels. I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, right? I mean, we have a full spectrum of people experiencing various levels of stress. Stress good or bad in the body? That's another question. Bad. Stress is a natural physiological process of the body. Without it, we wouldn't be around. You ever thought about that? Okay, follow me on this. I'm walking down, I don't know. Where do tigers live? Jungles or forest or savanna? Well, I don't know, where do they live? Bear, we're in a forest. Bears live in a forest, right? So I'm walking, and here I go, I look over and I see a bear. What's gonna happen to my physiology? My heart rate is gonna do what? My blood pressure is gonna do what? Right? I'm gonna start to, right? Now think about it this way. The blood from my internal organs is going to shunt away from my stomach and from my intestines and go where? Out here, so I can turn around and fight the bear or do what? Run away from the bear, right? Stress, good or bad for the body? Normal, natural, physiological response. It's not good or bad. It wasn't like a trick question. It was just this. We got our perception of it has to be just a little different. That's all. Just a little different. Recognize it. Now, put me in the same cage as a bear who's trying to eat me for a month. Stress, good or bad in the body? Real bad for the body, right? If I stay there for a long time. Oh, all right, I'll do it. Here you go, guys. Okay, two guys are walking down the forest. You guys ready for this? Two guys are walking down the forest. And they're walking. All of a sudden, a bear starts coming out and chasing them, right? Okay, and they start running, right? Excuse me. And then what happens is one guy's like, wait a second. And he has a backpack on. All of a sudden, he pulls out his little Asics runners, right? And he gets down and starts tying his shoes like this. And his buddy's like, what are you doing? There's a bear chasing us. Come on, we gotta run. And then the guy says this. He says, well, hey, I just thought about it. I don't have to run faster than the bear. I just have to run faster than you. I got another one too. So here's the thing. Stress. Normal, natural, physiological process in the body. It's actually good to go into a stress state when it's necessary, but man, we got to get back to what's called homeostasis and natural balanced physiology. Unfortunately though, what does stress look like in our lifestyles today? We're kind of always there. You know, we get cut off by that guy driving here, right? And we do a little bit of sign language, and you know, what do we hold on to for the rest of the day? Oh, that guy, you know, whatever. What happens to our stress type physiology? And if that remains, that can be very, very harmful for our bodies. But I assure you this, you start focusing in on exercise, you start focusing in on nutrition, you start focusing on the physiology of stress, which is your nervous system. It's controlled by your nervous system. You don't have those detrimental effects, and your body can bounce back to healing states of being. You can focus in on what's important right now. Honor the Lord, honor each other, and honor ourselves. That's a big deal. We've got to talk about stress. It's such a real thing. There's a little trick that I got for stress too that I think is a really interesting thing. And use it how you will or how you can, because this is so the way I learned it was this. So there's a stress response in our body. Just say, you know, here I am, and I'm nervous about speaking in front of people, right? I'm going to go in front of people, I'm going to talk to people about this. And I get what? Anxious. I get worried. My heart rate does what? My blood pressure does what? My blood shunts away from my internal organs. I'm not thinking about digestion right now. I'm not thinking about menstruation right now if I'm a woman, right? What happens if you have long-term lack of focus on your reproductive organs over a long period of time because of the physiological stress response? What starts to happen to your reproductive system? Isn't that crazy? Can you see how it all comes together? And all of a sudden, I'm doing that because I'm nervous about being in front of people. Here's the crazy thing, and this is such a great twist. It's a matter of perception. The response for somebody who is nervous about being in front of 1,000 people physiologically is the exact same physiology of somebody who's over here excited about going to Disneyland. Follow me on this. The physiology of the negative stress response is the exact same thing as somebody who's excited to go to Disneyland. Heart rate does what? Blood pressure does what? Blood shunts away from the internal organs. What's the difference? The perception of it. So a very simple trick. And this is crazy. Like I said, use it how you can, how you will. There's a way to apply it in a lot of given situations. If you're nervous about being in front of people, you could sit there all day and say, I'm calm, I'm calm, I'm calm, I'm calm. What are you literally doing to yourself? You're lying to yourself. It's a cognitive dissonance. Your physiology is stressed, but you're saying you're calm? No. Now, granted, there's techniques of like, you can relax yourself and calm yourself over time. That's real, okay? But here's the thing. The easier thing to do and the better thing to do is to say this. I'm excited about being in front of these people. You're not lying to yourself. It's not a cognitive dissonance. And you're actually speaking the truth to yourself based on your physiology. And you can start saying, my body's blood pressure's going up, my heart rate's going up because I'm getting ready for this event that is happening in front of me. Like your body's preparing for battle. You know what I mean? Like literally. Just say we're going into the hospital and we're nervous about a result. How about this? Do you want to go in and say, well, no, I'm going to be a victim to it and say I'm anxious? Or I'm going to go and say, man, I'm a child of the Father God, and you know what? I'm going to go in, and whatever information it gives me, I'm ready for it because my body's prepared and I can actually handle whatever comes my way and I can move forward from it. It's different, right? A little different. Little tweaks. All based on anatomy and physiology of the body, and you're not lying to yourself. That is cool. That is empowering. I hope it is empowering. Fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, carbs, just limit them. Just start to limit them. You'll notice a difference. Literally. Other thing, I want to give a few tips before we go. I'm going to finish up here in a bit. I just want to get some take-homes. Because a lot of people say, Doc, what can I do today to start changing things? One, a little bit of exercise, foundational. A lot of people say, well, what about supplements? Because you know what? I got to touch into supplements. Doc, I'm healthy. I don't take medications, but then they show up with what? Big old bag of, right? More supplements than they would if they were actually taking medications, but it's natural, right? We can do the same thing with natural whole food supplementation as we do with medications. We're fixing it by just dumping something into our body and not actually supporting our physiology. Sometimes that's a bigger discussion. I'm oversimplifying it here. But we have to be so sensitive to the idea that the natural lifestyle can also be just as binding, as tying as the allopathic medical, right? Now there's a time and a place for medicine, don't get me wrong. But all medicines have what? Side effects. Does that make sense? All of them do. I hate to say it, but they do. And one of my professors explained it to me this way, and this made so much sense. A medication is a chemical that goes into your body that has what? Effects on the body. Right? Many effects. You drink Tide, guess what? It's probably going to do a lot of things to your body, right? It might lower blood pressure. It might actually affect cholesterol. It might actually affect, anxiety or something like that. Or it might actually increase testosterone or something like that. Whatever it is, any given chemical will have an effect on your body. But what happens is somebody says, wait a second, this is pretty good. I'm going to come over here, market it, put a price tag on it, sell it. That'll be what's called the therapeutic effect. And guess what the rest are going to be called? We already said it. Side effects. They're all chemicals. And I think that's an important thing to recognize. But the thing is, it's like, well, I'm not going to take this. I'm going to take some sort of supplement, some sort of natural supplement, so many milligrams a day. I get it from Vitamin Shop, Walmart, wherever we get it. And you know what? I don't have the list of side effects, but guess what you're still doing? You're just taking in something that's forcing your physiology to do something that's not healing from within. This is important. But at the same time, there is just certain supplementation that I will recommend, because it's essential. You guys ever heard of vitamin D? It's a good one. It's involved in just about every single physiological process in the body. Everything. Where does it come from naturally if we don't take it from a supplement? Anybody know? Sunlight. How many of y'all are walking around naked all day? Do you think you're getting enough sunlight to actually produce enough vitamin D? Here's the thing. The physiology of the body is based on certain things, and unless we're walking around naked, exposing all of our skin, and the cholesterol in it, cholesterol being good, remember? Yeah, there you go. We're not making enough vitamin D. So just as a basic level, this is good, everybody? 5,000 IUs a day. 5,000 IUs a day, your physiology will thank you for it. Do 5,000 IUs a day. I do recommend a high quality supplement, a whole food supplement. That's what's key. You can get lab produced, and they'll work. But when you get whole food supplementation, it's made from food. Where are we supposed to get our nutrients from? Food. And you can have companies that'll do this. And this is one of the ones that I do recommend regularly just because we don't get enough. We just don't. We're not walking around naked all day. We're inside. Even here, we're inside, right? Well, the windows are open, but we don't get enough. Well, it's 15 minutes a day. No, but naked, within the hours of like 11 and 2, you actually have to be out at a certain time of the day to actually get enough of the rays necessary. If you're out in the morning, you're out in the afternoon, you're actually not converting things to vitamin D in your body. This is how crazy this gets. So, 5,000 IUs a day. If for whatever reason you go get your blood levels tested, has anybody ever had their vitamin D tested? Anybody? Yeah, it's a good thing. The rates that I want to see is about 50, nanograms per milliliter. It's been a while since I've said that stat and up. We want above 50 to have proper physiological process. Do you remember your values now? No. I mean, mine were in the low 30s. So what I recommend, if you go in and get tested, just say you are low, what you do is you do 10,000 IUs a day, and I do it for about 1 month. And then retest. Or just know that if you do that for a month, you're probably going to be pretty good. And if it's super low, go for 2 months. And then come back down to a baseline 5,000 IUs a day. It's amazing. And read up on this. Dr. Google. Be careful with Dr. Google, please. But start reading up on vitamin D and you'll be amazed. Dr. Josh Axe. Anybody ever heard of Dr. Josh Axe? Dr. Josh Axe has great resources on his website. I recommend that you do a little bit of reading on health and wellness in the natural way. This is good right in here. Everybody get that? 5,000 IUs a day, 10,000 if you're deficient. Another one. How do you spell vinegar? Did I spell that right? Apple cider vinegar. Anybody have apple cider vinegar? Bragg brand apple cider vinegar? Yeah? Okay, good. Daily. 1 tablespoon in a tall glass of water. Because, and that was 1 tablespoon in a glass of water. Tall glass, I do recommend, I do it in a 16-ounce glass myself. Some people take shots of it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, it's hard on the gut lining. Although some people like it and they can handle it, I just take shots of it. Now mix it with water. You'll be better off. We're supposed to be drinking a lot of water anyways, right? Yeah. Okay. So apple cider vinegar, super beneficial for so many things. Sinuses, softening the mucous membrane of nose and sinus and actually allowing drainage so we don't get inflammation and headaches and sinus pressure. We're in Middle Tennessee. Boy, do we have a lot of that around here, don't we? Amazing on the effects of that. I've had patients actually totally get rid of it with that. Another thing too that's really good for, gut. Gut and gut lining. Why is the stomach so important? It is the gateway to all physiological process of the body. Think about this. Food comes up, goes into here, and then where does it get into your body? In the gut. And then your brain's reading what's going on in the gut and then shifting physiology accordingly. If your gut lining is wrecked, right? Constipation, diarrhea, IBS, ulcerative colitis, all of them, right? Excuse me. Guess what your body's not doing well? Reading what it's taking in and using it effectively. So if you can actually start improving your gut lining with apple cider vinegar 1 tablespoon a day, sinuses get better, gut gets better, immune system gets better because of it, you get less sick. You actually start going to the bathroom as often as you do. And I want to be sensitive to this. How much time do I have? I've been going for a little bit, but I want to be sensitive. There's a little bit of time? Okay, good, good. Apple cider vinegar. I do recommend Bragg brand apple cider vinegar. It's cheap. You get it at Kroger. It's real cheap. And it's like the #1 therapeutic that I recommend. I think everybody on the planet should be on it. Is that good? Can everybody do that? Yes? Good. This is good. Something else I'd like to add. Some level of a omega. Anybody take omegas right now, like a fish oil? Yeah, yeah, wonderful. Add a level of fish oil or omega to your life. Again, high quality products. You can get it at certain places. I think you can get it at like gas stations now. It's getting to be kind of a hot thing. No, spend a little bit of money, do it right. Why is it? Is because there's this thing in our diets called omega 3s and omega 6s. These are anti-inflammatory and these are pro-inflammatory in a sense. This is oversimplified here. But our diets in the United States are very high in omega 6. Okay? And what happens is this can lead to chronic inflammation in the body. All right? And that can lead to detrimental effects. We've heard of inflammation, right? It's kind of a buzzword these days. I can do an entire workshop on inflammation. That's great. But what happens is when you take an omega, that could be like a fish oil. Oops, I'm not spelling things right. Oil. Or like a flaxseed also. If you can't do fish, you do flaxseed. Hemp, I think. There's even some hemp products that have it, if I'm recalling correctly. You can start reducing the inflammatory load in your body and actually support your physiology so you don't go into this chronic state of inflammation and actually start getting a little stronger, a little healthier from the inside. Guess what's one of the most important nutrients for the bacteria in your gut? Back to the gut lining. Omegas, fish oils. Isn't that cool? That's good. Basic anatomy and physiology. So even if we just add vitamin D, we add fish oils, and add apple cider vinegar, your physiology will start to change and heal and get a lot stronger almost immediately. Ah, that's good. Got a few minutes here. I want to do this. Any questions on things? I'm going to wrap it up here. I think that's good right there. And please, yes, I think she had her hand up first, if that's all right. Yes?
What particular brand
Omegas. So there's a few good brands that I like. I personally use Ancient Nutrition, and that's a Dr. Josh Axe product. I've actually worked with him and trained with him. I know him. He is a legit guy. He's only having the highest quality products. Ancient Nutrition. Another brand that's out there that's really, really good, it's called Garden of Life. You can get it at Vitamin Shop. And that's a great, great quality brand. There's some other ones that are a little bit more along the lines of like a clinical. Usually you have to go to like a doc to get them. But I'd recommend not going for like the Walmart kind of Nature's Best, I think it's called, or something like that. I mean, it's there and I'm glad that it's there, but I guess in my brain, I just think if I'm going to take something in, I do want it to be high quality, to have the most impact, to actually have the effect that I want to have. And you're not taking in a bunch of toxins with it as well, too, because they actually purify and clean them well. Does that make sense? Two brands that I like, Ancient Nutrition, Dr. Josh Axe, and then Garden of Life is a great product. I think they're owned by Nestle now, but they've actually done a good job of staying healthy, staying natural, staying clean. So over here real quick, and I'll come back to you. Yes, please? Ooh, thank you. Water. You know what most of our body's made up of? Water. Do you think in the United States we drink enough water? Half your body weight in ounces a day. Half your body weight in ounces a day. Now there's other scenarios. If you got some renal issues, you do have to be careful. There's things, there's certain things that come up when it comes to water. But as a general rule, whatever you think's a lot of water, just drink more. That's really what it comes down to. But half your body weight in ounces a day is a great guideline for water. And that's another one. You start doing that, you will immediately notice a difference. Skin softer, better. Oh, it's beautiful. Really, really is. Yes, please.
Oh, yes. I would like to ask, and it goes with what you telling us. I got a house manager. She be telling me to exercise, but then she runs back in the room and lay down. But then she get on me if I'm just sitting down relaxed. Because I think housework is exercise too.
It is. It
if
really,
you
really
do
is.
enough of it.
Yeah.
And so but she keep pushing,
Yeah.
and I keep telling her, you do you and let me do me, and we'll be all right.
Yeah.
So you telling me to exercise, and you ain't doing that. You
Yeah.
still getting sluggish and talking.
No,
but I'm
that-
moving around though.
It's an ongoing discussion, and everybody's at a different place, and everybody has different motivations. And unfortunately, the number one motivator for most people, and I hate to say this, is pain. When things get bad enough, people will actually change things.
Yes.
Understand this discussion is like, let's do this before things ever go bad.
Get to that.
Does that make sense? That's where I spend my energy. That's where I think we honor the Lord in the temple best. Does that make sense? So when it comes to movement and exercise, yes, just do your own thing. And it's one of those things, honestly, let yourself be motivated by the fact that she's telling you to get moving. Be okay with it. And do it because it's good for you. I hate to say it, if she's not ready to do it, at some point, there's going to be something most likely that comes into her life, or he or she, excuse me, I didn't hear what it was, that's like, oh my God, I'm in enough pain, I'm sick enough, I will actually start to do something now. Pleasure, pain is what it is. But we will actually move away from pain sooner than we will go towards pleasure. We're wired really strange. Really, really strange. You mean if I just stop eating carbs, my life will be amazing? But this cake over here is amazing, and if I, but at some point I might get sick, but it's not happening right now. I'm going to keep eating the cake. Well, now my blood sugar is all messed up. Getting a little harsh there. Well, no, but now maybe I'll stop eating cake. But I'll still have, no. Right here, please.
I've been looking at resistant starch for gut health. What's your take on that?
What is it?
Resistant starch.
Resistant starch?
Gut health.
And what is that exactly?
One is psyllium husk, and the other one is potato starch.
Okay, so actually like taking in a little bit of stuff like that. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. I think it is beneficial. My mom was actually doing that for a while after she got cancer to help support her gut healing and all that. She was actually doing well with it. It's not one of my basic baselines. A lot of times it's something that I recommend, like, when somebody has gut issues, if necessary. There's also other levels to this. There's basic baseline gut stuff that I do, but then there's also, if we need to do testing into the gut, whether it be stool testing or something like that to see exactly what you need. So that's one of those where like certain presentations will call for it, and it can be extremely beneficial, yes. But I would also say if it's not necessary, I bet you there's other things that could be more effective as well. That's where sitting down, consulting one-on-one with somebody who's actually a gut specialist is a good thing. So, that kind of answer your question? I don't have a good answer for it, but it's like sometimes with stuff like that, you actually need somebody guiding you, say like, that can actually give you exactly what you need, because you might be looking for something that might not be. Does that make sense? Yes, please.
I just want to get a brain for the vitamin D.
Vitamin D, again, Ancient Nutrition and Garden of Life. Two brands that I recommend on a regular basis. So, very, very good, high quality products. Is this good? Is this helping out a little bit? I hope that, it's big. I don't mean to oversimplify it, but I'm trying to simplify it as much as I can. Because, I don't know, I'm just like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. But don't give me too much because, there's a lot out there. Questions, please. This is good. This is always my favorite part. Yes, please.
I just wanted to know, a lot of people not getting proper sleep.
Yes.
And then that has to deal with serotonin and things of that nature. So can you just elaborate on that?
Absolutely. So she was asking about sleep and a lot of people not having enough sleep. And this is a big deal. Sleep is when our bodies heal. Our bodies reset for the day. It's such a big deal. So many things happen. Our brains process neurologically what happened and actually reset. We're more active in our brains at night when we're sleeping than actually during the day. That's pretty cool stuff. Man, our bodies are just incredible. Sleep, big deal. Sometimes it's hormonal. Sometimes it's actually involved with the gut. Gut actually directly relates to hormonal. One of the number one things for sleep, though, by far, the number one thing for sleep, exercise. Across the board, if you're having sleep issues, you gotta increase the exercise. You just have to do it. And I'm not talking about, then it's like a little bit beyond just going for a walk every day, even though that can be beneficial. It's like sometimes you really gotta shock your metabolism and physiology. And then also, like I was talking about gut creates a lot of the hormones in our body and a lot of the neurotransmitters. So like in order to balance out the stuff that's involved with sleep, gut is a big part of it. And that usually involves some level of testing or a gut rehab of some sort as well too. So it's a bigger discussion, but the one thing that I do recommend when it comes to sleep is exercise. But also then when we're talking about sleep, we're talking about stress response, the adrenals, and the adrenals have a direct relationship then to nervous system. What's your nervous system like? Are you having subluxations in your spine that chiropractically need to be addressed? Because when you can start balancing out your nervous system to that homeostatic state, you'll actually begin to rest and produce the stuff necessary for rest as well too. Again, bigger discussion, trying to simplify it as much as I can. The simplest answer is upping exercise is one of the great first steps that you can do. So if anybody's sleeping out there, get moving. We got a bunch of equipment right out here, let's go. Any other questions, please? Yeah, I like smoothies. Smoothies are great. She asked about smoothies. Smoothies is a great way to just take in a bunch of nutrients right off the bat. Getting a good high quality bone broth protein is a great thing to do, or a collagen protein. Adding a little bit of cinnamon in there helps with sugar regulation. I always add fat, so you can actually add like coconut oil or butter to it to add a little bit of fat to your smoothie. So a lot of times we put fruit. Guess what fruit is? Sugar. Now there's fiber in there to balance it out, but get some fat and protein in there, either by a scoop, a protein powder, a bone broth powder, a collagen powder, or get some fat in there by just sticking a spoonful of coconut oil in there, or what's called MCT oil, I believe it's called, if I'm saying that right. All it is it's kind of like the fats that are in coconut oil, and they extract it out and create it into a liquid soluble one. Because coconut oil is solid at room temperature, so it's kind of hard to blend up. In the mornings, a lot of people ask, well, Doc, what do you do in the mornings? I do what are called coffee bullets. I drink coffee. Who drinks coffee? It's good. So what I do, I put a cup of coffee in my blender, I add some butter to it, I add some coconut oil to it, I add a little bit of protein powder, some bone broth protein powder to it, and then I put cinnamon in there, and I whip it in my blender, and I drink it, and it's like a really nice, frothy, creamy mocha in the morning that's 100% good for you. That does what? Does the energetics that I was talking about. Oh man. Fat, protein, a little bit of cinnamon there for sugar regulation. The coffee, because coffee's amazing, and the boost from the caffeine. I like caffeine in the morning. It does help. Caffeine's good. Oh yeah, so what I do specifically is this. Look it up. First of all, look up the concept of, there's a brand called Bulletproof Coffee. They were kind of the ones who really made this popular. But then I call it a coffee bullet. And that's having coffee with fat and protein in it. Mine is organic butter. Most people do non-salted. A tablespoon. I do 2 just because I like to up it a little bit. So 1 cup of coffee, a tablespoon of butter. And then I add extra where I put protein powder and coconut oil in it. But at a basic level, coffee and butter is what a coffee bullet is. And for coffee drinkers, yeah. And if you're not a coffee drinker, I don't know, do it with tea or something. I don't know, I've never done it with tea, I guess, but green tea.
Yogurt.
Yogurt? I like yogurt.
Yeah.
I like yogurt. I go for full fat yogurt, but if you're gonna go for full fat yogurt, then you gotta go to organic yogurt. This is the quality of the fat side of things. If you're doing full fat yogurt that's not organic, you're getting a lot of toxicity with it. This is the key. So if you're going to go yogurt, go for full fat and go for organic. Stony Bridge is a great brand.
Oh, okay.
It's a really, really good brand. Great probiotics in there that are beneficial for the body. How are we doing? This is good. This is like the best part here, but yeah. Yes, please.
What exactly is collagen? Where are they getting it from?
So collagen. Oh, this is such a great discussion. Man, back in the old days, we ate a lot of collagen. Now we don't. Anywhere from 20 to 30% of your protein intake should be from collagen amino acids. Okay? Collagen, think of it as like the binder for all the tissues in your body. Okay? Your skin, your nails, your hair, the connective tissue in your body, joints, all what? Collagen type proteins. You know what most Americans take in when it comes to collagen? zero, because of our eating habits have changed so much. Unless you're eating the fish of skin or the fish of chicken or organ meats on a regular basis, you're realistically not getting enough collagen in your diet. So realistically, we supplement. I use Ancient Nutrition's collagen powder myself. And I do a scoop a daily in my bone broth protein that actually has collagen in it. Like, why is it that we end up, well, my joints are all messed up, so I gotta start taking glucosamine and chondroitin, right? Well, that's just in bone broth. So I just go for the bone broth where it has the full complement of nutrients, as opposed to isolating it out. So collagen's a big deal. We should be taking way more collagen than we do. And realistically, the highest quality source isn't actually changing up our diets of foods and doing like bone. It's powders, collagen powders and collagen bone broth. Was there another question over here, I think?
Oh, I was just saying that, like in the mornings, I may do like a egg, or
Yeah.
white, and some avocado.
Oh, wonderful.
And then I take my fish oil. But I just order my stuff from a place called Natural Partners.
Natural Partners.
They're out of Arizona, but they have also the garden. I get my multivitamin Garden of Life, and then the fish oil. I forget the name of it, but anyway, I've been taking that, and then I also ordered this vitamin D3. I think it has like K in it too. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
So
No, that's good. And she actually brought up a great point. Eggs and avocados, two easy things to add to your diet that are extremely beneficial. Eggs have what? Protein and fat. And they have cholesterol. And guess what? Cholesterol is good for you. Yes, we need it. And avocados are a perfect fruit. Amazing fruit. I just eat them straight. My family does with a little bit of salt on top and just eat them like that. Also, you can make like chocolate mousses with it and stuff like that. You get some cocoa powder, you blend it up, you add some dates to it, you can make like these really rich, fatty, hot, super high quality frostings for cakes. Ah man, this whole natural foods thing, you actually eat better when you start looking into natural fruits. It's tastier. It's good. Yes, there was over here. Where was it? Was it here? Yes, please.
Is raw vegetables good for type 1 diabetic? Because I'm type 1.
Yeah.
And raw vegetables taste better to me. And plus, they carry my appetite.
Yeah.
They carry
So-
my appetite instead of cooked vegetables. But when my house manager cook them, if she cook them out the can, she drain the raw, she bring the juice off, wash them off, and then put them in a skillet and cook them.
Yeah, so this is where you kind of get into some specifics. Our bodies can handle raw vegetables and raw fruits. We're very well designed for that. The purpose of cooking, and this is the beautiful thing about cooking, is it starts to it can be bad too. It starts to denature the foods. It starts to break things down. It actually begins the digestive process for us.
Oh, okay.
So if you take a raw food and you put it in here, your body kind of has to work to break it down. If you cook it, you start the breaking down process of it, and you can actually then absorb it and use it easier. It's kind of a very person-specific thing. Then what you have to ask is, how's your gut and gut lining? Especially with type 1 diabetes, what's the gut doing right now? What's the lining like? Have you had stool testing done to see what's in there and what's not supposed to be in there? It's a bigger discussion. It is. But just understanding the purpose of cooking, in a sense, in a very just like basic. Cooking's just fun, right? Again, perception. Have fun with cooking. I don't like cooking. No. Love it. You're making food. Food is what we are. But does that make sense? So how about this? Instead of thinking about cooking or not cooking, just eat vegetables. Because that's where a lot of people say, wow, I don't want to cook vegetables, or I don't want to. No, well, just start somewhere. Dave Ramsey said once. Somebody asked him, he's like, Dave, what should I tithe? 10%, 5%? You know, and his question was like, well, what are you doing now? He's like, well, I'm not doing anything. Well, it doesn't matter then, just do something. You know, that makes sense. Just do something. You know, it's a good thing, so do it. Tithing's a good thing, so do it.
Yes, thank you.
I have one other question. So, where are you located, and what other service do you do? Acupuncture and things of that nature?
So I'm a chiropractor. We do what's called corrective care chiropractic. That means that we're actually adjusting in a way that we see structural shifts and changes on the spine. So if your spine's out of alignment as we go through care, we actually see correction of it to take pressure and tension off your nervous system. I'm in Murfreesboro. So that is, you know, Old Time Pottery? Everybody knows where Old Time Pottery is, right? I mean, I can see Old Time Pottery right out my window. Verizon's right there too. So like right there, right off of 2 exits down or something like that, I think it is, or something like that. Same with Sam's Club. Old Ford, there we go, the Old Ford exit, right over there. So we do corrective care chiropractic. That's made up of very specific adjustments, x-rays that give us an idea what's going on, home exercises, rehabilitative exercises that you do in the office that are very efficient. We've got vibration platforms. Anybody ever heard of vibe therapy? Oh man, there's some good stuff there. You stand on a shaking plate and it's like a workout. It's great. But then we also do nutritional counseling, and we also do functional medicine, meaning testing, blood testing, saliva testing, gut testing, where you poop in a box for 3 days. That sort of stuff to see what's going on, because we don't have windows to the inside of our body. The only thing that lets us do that is functional testing to see what's going on. Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. We can really start to see what's going on with the physiology of the body. So yeah, it's a good thing. It's neat. Let me give you a little thing real quick. Give you an idea of the chiropractic care and why it's so significant. This is a big deal. Everybody take your hand on this side. Actually, I don't know. Curve your fingers like this. See, our necks, you're supposed to have a forward-facing 45-degree curve. A nice smooth curve in our neck like this. So if our head is here like this, and that's our nose, that's our eye, then the curve in our neck should be like that. Just like this. And this is literally what happens with your nervous system. Reach over with your other hand, and you see how you can grab the skin, and it's soft, and it's pliable, and it moves. And these are the nerves that go out and down to your arm, and out to your thyroid, and up and around your head, out to your sinuses. What happens, though, if you get a whiplash injury and lose the curve in your neck? What happens to the skin when you straighten out your fingers? It starts to get what? Stretch, right? So you create what's called a pathological tension, and it starts to do what? Whoa, over time, to the nervous system and to the nerves. That do what? You're creating tension. Ooh, look at this. Red's bad, right? Tension on the nerves going up, affecting sinuses, on going out to thyroid, down into the arms and hands, creating numbness and tingling across the shoulders for tightness, right? Migraines, headaches. So, as a chiropractor, we start to align the spine, get pressure off of there, and allow the body to what? Function best. When it functions best, it heals best. And then as you take care of yourself, you function better, you heal better, you function better, you heal better, you feel better, your quality of life goes up. Then you start eating a little bit differently, and supporting your physio. Then you start exercising to create strength so you can actually hold the adjustments, and your quality of life goes up, and you can go out and serve your people, serve the Lord, and honor yourselves as well. Yes, please.
Is your services insurance covered?
Insurance. We are out of network with insurance. So this is key. Our office is out of network with insurance for good reason. And it goes big and it goes deep. Insurance and chiropractic just isn't very good for one. It just isn't. I'll be honest. It isn't. Also, it's difficult to have insurance companies who've never met you determining the care that you need. This is real. Like a lot of times there'll be limitations and caps and stuff like that. And then it just gets into this really strange discussion on, well, I'm recommending this, but insurance only covers that. And it's just really, really strange. And some offices do it and they do great with it. We've decided to go the other route where we keep our fees reasonable, and it actually allows us to keep our fees reasonable. Because when I contract with an insurance company, I have to use their fee schedule. I can make my own. Then also, if somebody does get care in the office, what we do is this, is we do a verification of out-of-network benefits. And what happens in that scenario is, if there are out-of-network benefits, you pay for care, and then services are rendered, and then we give you what's called a super bill or an itemized receipt, and then you're able to then submit to your insurance directly. And then if there's any reimbursement available, you get it back directly. We don't middleman, we allow you and give you the tools necessary to go directly to your insurance back. Does that make sense? And it works great. Our patients do very well with it, you know. Not being in insurance, that is, not being contracted with Blue Cross and stuff. Any other questions? This is good. Yes, please.
I have one more. Like I said, I'm a type 1 diabetic, but my pancreas don't make enough insulin, so I have to take a shot in the morning and at night. But I can still fast like normal people. My appetite ain't ravishing like it used to be when I wasn't a diabetic. It took them 10 years to find out I was a diabetic and had all the symptoms.
Yeah.
I went to the doctor 40 times, and on the 40th time they finally found me.
Mm-hmm.
But I can get up in the morning like, God, let me get up this morning, start me on my way and everything. And my friend come to pick me up, and my house house manager forgot that the time went back. I'm sitting up waiting. I don't want to check my sugar and check my and got my shot and everything. And he came out and voted. She woke up. She said, "Is that for you?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You forgot to give my medicine." She said, "Come get it." I said, "What you gonna do for something?" I said, "The way you feed me, my stomach can hold out for a while."
Yeah.
I can fast longer than people think I can fast.
Yeah.
But I do have to eat 3 times a day and eat a healthy snack.
So with type 1 diabetes, there are some very specific, like what we call in chiropractic, limitations of matter, meaning you have very specific things going on with organ systems in your body that realistically don't have as much wiggle room, we'll say, in terms of healing and function as, say, somebody who's not type 1 diabetic.
Okay.
But also, if there's type 1 diabetes, there's other systems in the body that have issue as well that you can support to optimize. One of my associate docs, her husband was type 1 diabetic, and we started doing the things that we do in the office. And for him, it got easier to manage and control. Easier to manage and control. He was able to actually move forward and get things better, less medications, less dependency on it. But there are, like I said, very specific physical limitations with type 1 diabetes. So, but a lot can still, because we all have like a range that we can work with it.
Right.
You know, for me, my pancreas has a range of how much I can optimize its ability. You have another range that's a little different than mine of how we can optimize that physiology or the supportive organs around it as well too. A lot of times it has a lot to do with gut as well too, and stomach. So, yeah, I mean, everybody's just different. It's case specific. It's very, very case specific.
That's the reason I believe in God and let Him guide me every day and just try to be better.
Yeah.
And love, help who I can and love who
That's
I
it.
can.
That's it.
Just take
Well,
it
this
one
is-
day at a time.
This discussion is so
Of course
important.
nobody.
You know, like I love this because like we're having discussions on optimizing this thing that we got, this wonderful tool, this gift, to be able to go out and honor Him, love Him, honor each other, love each other, and especially ourselves. And that's beautiful. All right. Any final things here? Some good take homes. Are we able to maybe apply a few things?
Oh,
maybe
yes,
have some
sir.
filters on
Thank
some
you.
things as well too. No, that's good. All right, I think we could probably call it here. I think, right? Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.